Well, welcome. Get right into this here, part three. And I'll just do a little audio check just to make sure. All right, everybody can hear me. That is always good to do. I've noticed this is now the third episode that I've done of this, and most of it has been focused on RFK. Just about all of it has been focused on RFK Jr. So I'm going to begin this one just a little bit different to focus a little bit on the Republican candidate. I think we all know who it's going to be. Most likely it will be Donald Trump. There is a very slim to none chance, I believe, that Ron DeSantis will end up being the Republican nominee for the 2024 presidential election, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. So let's take a look at if you don't know where to catch up with Donald Trump, since he has been pretty much banned just about everywhere. He's back. Well, he wasn't never banned on Rumble, as far as I know. And he's back on Twitter, though he hasn't posted anything since he's been back, because he created Truth Social, or is the leading forerunner of Truth Social. Aside from Truth Social, you can also go to donaldjtrump.com, and you can always find him there to catch up with what the president of the United States, the real president of the United States, is doing, has been doing, and will continue to do. Yes, to make America great again in 2024. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. So if you do want to catch up, you just go to donaldjtrump.com. Hit the /news. There's a lot of good stuff that you can find in the news section. They update just about it every day, and you can see there's a lot of things. He's really going after Ron DeSantis. So obviously Ron DeSantis should kind of treat that as a compliment, I think. And the fact that he's not going after the real Democratic nominee, who is and should be and hopefully will be RFK Jr. The fact that Mr. Trump is not going after RFK Jr., is that a slight, or is that the real threat? Well, that's what we're going to find out as we continue on in this series here. But for now, President Trump is just more focused on Ron DeSantis and on the fake president, Joe Biden. So this is the 45th president of the United States to arrive in Trump Force One in Manchester, New Hampshire. Let's take a look at this one. I don't think I've seen this one yet. So Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. Do not miss it. Of course, it'll be hard to find, most likely. If it is recorded, if it is live, most likely it won't be. Most likely it won't be streamed, but there may be somebody out there with the camera who captures some of this. So that is his next speaking engagement. This is going to be in Manchester, New Hampshire, Tuesday, June 27th at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. He will speak at the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women Lilac Luncheon. So that is Mr. President Trump's next speaking engagement, and we'll see if they have somebody to document that to go live. But if not, that's okay. He's going to be speaking a lot. President Trump can go on for hours and hours, as we have seen. So I'm going to go take one step back because there was something that was posted here. Agenda 47. This is the video section. So Agenda 47. They have a whole Agenda 47 section up here. This one is from today: protecting Americans by taking on big pharma and ending global freeloading. So let's go ahead and I think I'm just going to play this one. I think there is a video here somewhere. You can always find it on Truth Social, but let me see if this plays or not. Oh, there we go. Look at that. On Rumble. So let's get ready to rumble. I'll play this and then come right back.
Crooked Joe Biden likes to pretend he stands up to Big Pharma, but in fact, I was the only president in modern times who ever took on big pharma, and I took it head on. Biden canceled my tough on pharma policies the moment he had a chance. As president, I signed a historic executive order declaring that the United States government would pay the same price for pharmaceuticals as other foreign countries and no more. We didn't want to pay any more. Can you imagine that? How simple would that be? This would have saved American patients billions and billions of dollars. But shortly after taking office, Joe Biden rescinded my executive order, stabbing patients and U.S. citizens, and especially our seniors, right in the back. For many years, Americans have been paying among the highest prices in the world for our prescription drugs, while other countries negotiate sweetheart deals off the backs of America, paying vastly lower prices for the very same drugs from the very same companies. This amounts to a gigantic subsidy for foreign socialist welfare systems, courtesy of you and the American people. On day one of my new term, I will sign an executive order to end this global freeloading on American consumers for once and for all. Under my policy, the United States government will tell Big Pharma that we will only pay the best price they offer to foreign nations who have been taking advantage of us for so long. The United States is tired of getting ripped off. We've been ripped off by everybody for so many decades. We're tired of it. Not going to happen. They should have never rescinded my original executive order. It just shows you the power of big pharma, but it will force big pharma to raise prices on foreign countries and reduce prices very substantially for American patients. It will deliver huge savings for seniors and for all American patients. Thank you very much. This was a very easy one, and this is an honor to tell you because this was something that never should have happened. They should have never, ever rescinded my executive order.
And there it is. So that is the latest from President Trump there on the website. So you can go ahead and check that out if you want to keep up with President Trump and you're just not sure how to or where to go. Another great place, obviously, probably the best place, if not on his website, is also Truth Social. So I'm going to pull that up and let's see what he is talking about there. It's really been mostly the same type of thing. So I don't know if I can put in Truth Social Trump. And of course, they're going to try to bury the lead, right? Thought I would have had this all set up, but I thought I did, but I guess not. It's okay. And okay, truthsocial.com. How about backslash Donald J. Trump? No. Okay. Not gonna work. I guess I'll have to log in. Log in, and then we can go to real Donald J. Trump there. There he is. There's the man. So that's the one that we just watched. So if you just want to follow what he's posting, or whoever is posting in his name, that's Truth Social. Pretty much like Twitter, but all about Trump here. So really not too much more going on for now with Trump. I think we're just kind of waiting to see what happens next, but he's definitely posting stuff, definitely staying out there. The all caps thing here drives me crazy. 15 hours ago, Congress, please investigate the political witch hunt against me currently being brought by the corrupt DOJ and FBI, who are totally out of control. This continuing saga is retribution against me for winning, against me for winning. Is it on? Oh, it's not even there. Hold on. Let's see if I can move over here. Share this chat. This is better. So here is all of the things you can find with Trump. All of his videos are here. Sometimes they're here first, actually. So I'll read this again. Congress, please investigate the political witch hunts against me currently being brought by the corrupt DOJ and FBI, who are totally out of control. This continuing saga is retribution against me for winning and even more importantly to them, election interference regarding the 2024 presidential election. It will be their it will be their updated form of rigging our most important election. Look at the polls. They can't beat me, MAGA, at the ballot box. The only way they can win is to cheat. Stop them now. So you see a lot of that, a lot of the same thing. Trump just kind of, has to respond to everything. This is another great one. I wonder if I can play this one. Special counsel John Durham testifies that the FBI had no information that anyone in the Trump campaign had been in contact with Russian intelligence officials at the time they launched the Crossfire Hurricane investigation from the Heritage Foundation. I'll try to read
wrote
this
in your
one here.
report, quote, based on
This one is, this is a good one. This is a
wrote-
really good one here. So let's see. Boom. Boom. Play.
You wrote in your report, quote, based on the evidence gathered in the multiple exhaustive and costly federal investigations of these matters, including the instant investigation, neither U.S. law enforcement nor the intelligence community appears to have possessed any actual evidence of collusion in their holdings at the commencement of the Crossfire investigation. To date, has any evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia ever been uncovered?
I mean, there is information, obviously, in the report that was prepared by Director Mueller and whatnot. But as to collusion or conspiracy, I'm not aware of any.
And let me stop you. When the FBI opened Crossfire Hurricane, that's the issue at hand, it did not have any information that anyone in the Trump campaign had ever been in contact with Russian intelligence officials. Isn't that right?
As we wrote in the report, we talked to the director of the CIA, the deputy director of the CIA, the director of NSA, and people within the FBI, and there was no such information that they had in their holdings at the time they opened Crossfire Hurricane.
Well, there you go. So nothing, another nothing burger. And then Adam Schiff is still acting like there's really something there. And I think people have been tired of it. We're still tired of it. So not too much more in the world of Trump happening right now. We're just kind of sitting and waiting, and glad he's still making those videos and moving right along just as he should be. Wish he would get back on Twitter. I think that would be fun. I think that would be great. But that's okay. So then we'll move back to RFK Jr. He gave a fascinating, amazing speech, I believe, on June 20th, 2 days ago. It's about the speech is about 30 minutes, and it is awesome. I have some clips of that on my other channel with the same name, Greg Fernandez Jr. Trying to figure out how I can distinguish the two channels. Maybe put a 1 and a 2. Maybe that would help. To let people know, this was my original backup channel, the channel I'm on right now. And this one already has. I think I have 2 strikes. Maybe down to 1 right now, but I had 2 strikes at one point. So Greg Fernandez Jr. G3 is now running, and I have a lot of the stuff there. A lot of the pre-tape things for Kennedy, for Trump, all streaming, playing on that other channel. So in the meantime, let's go ahead. There is an article that I wanted to read here. Just want to remind people that if you are not sure where to find the man, RFK Jr., you can always go to Kennedy 24, and that's where you'll find great things, great articles like this article that I found. It's an opinion piece. And then if you look at the news section, there's an article. There's just one article here, but I read this the other day. This is from April 20th, 2023. I believe a day after Kennedy announced that he was officially running for the president of the United States. And there's young RFK right there, RFK Jr. right there. So he's been involved in this political realm for a very, very long time. But here is a great article. Let me see. I'll just pull this up. It's from the New York Post. So consider the source there. And the ads, one best way to get rid of all these ads here, there's an immerse reader. I know you can't see it on the screen here in the upper right corner if you're using Edge. And it will take you to where you just see what you want to see. Here's the article title, and this is by Ashley Rinsberg. And so I'm going to pull this up here because it looks like the stream kind of stopped there for a second. The screen share. So let me pull this up. And this article, I believe, is really good. Should I not put the date on here? It must be from June 19th. The title of this one is Mainstream News Outlets Want to End Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s Primary Challenge. So there's the picture from when he made the big announcement there. And he has just been tumbling over everybody. Not stumbling, but just rolling to the races. I mean, when he said he was taking this seriously, he was not kidding. And I think the only person who's been campaigning more is President Trump, even with all of the BS that Trump has had to deal with. Ron DeSantis is out there too. For some reason, he's not getting the same coverage that these two candidates are. That's another interesting thing. But I'll try to read some of this article. So it starts, when Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced his primary challenge to Joe Biden in April, the media shrugged him off as a meme candidate who would soon collide with political reality. 2 months later, Kennedy is polling as high as 20%, and his campaign is gaining momentum. The media, unwilling to let Biden be primaried by this pedigree populist, have decided it's time to step in. And step in they have. They sure have. Over the past weeks, major print and broadcast organizations have laid the foundations for a powerful narrative designed to hobble Kennedy's campaign before a single vote is cast. The strategy is to disqualify Kennedy by labeling him a font of misinformation, out to serve America's moneyed technocrats. In other words, a Republican in Kennedy clothes. Ooh, I like it. Earlier this month, Kennedy joined Elon Musk for a live Twitter space, the first ever by a presidential candidate. The response from the Fourth Estate was instant derision. Well, I thought Ron DeSantis, that would be the first presidential candidate. Maybe there's some technicalities there. Anyways, the New York Times set the pace with the takedown, brimming the accusations and innuendo. From word one, the article didn't hesitate with its heavy-handedness, accusing Kennedy in its headline of pushing right-wing ideas and misinformation. Ooh. There is a former Twitter CEO, Jack Dorsey. He has embraced and endorsed RFK. Pretty interesting, and I played that 1 or 2 minute clip there. The problem is that the article, talking about the New York Times article, which includes 0 sources and little in terms of comment from the Kennedy campaign, provides no support for this claim. In lieu of actual facts, Times presents fact checks, claiming, for instance, that Kennedy advanced a conspiracy theory by questioning the outcome of the 2004 Bush-Kerry election. Guess who else questioned the validity of that election? The New York Times in a lengthy November 2004 editorial. Burn. The same day as the Times hit piece, the Washington Post weighed in with a 3,600-word bruiser. In its first sentence, the article claimed Kennedy's campaigns on the idea that powerful people have been working in secret to deceive you. How dare he suggest that? How dare he suggest, as if they would kill a president or kill a presidential candidate. That's never happened before, right? Never, ever, ever. That's partly true. One of Kennedy's most scrutinized claims is that Big Pharma is pushing what he considers to be unsafe or unproven drugs, particularly vaccines. But this take reduces Kennedy, an environmentalist lawyer, to nothing more than a high-profile crank. His entire quote, his entire worldview has become a conspiracy theory, said a source in the Washington Post article, to make it seem as if Kennedy's controversial vaccine views reflect his thinking on everything else. They don't. Facebook billionaire, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Nevertheless, MSNBC picked up the WAPO piece and ran with it. I hate when they do that. Just say Washington Post. The Washington Post piece and ran with it, bringing the article's author on air for an interview. Probably not by coincidence, the interview was conducted by former Biden White House press secretary, MSNBC host Jen Peppermint Patty, who did the heavy lifting for her one-time boss. Quote, conspiratorial thinking is not just a right-wing phenomenon, Peppermint Patty said. It's found across the political spectrum, including among self-described Democrats. Now, she also spent the next 8 minutes focused on just one conspiratorial, self-described Democrat, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. In case you think I'm cherry picking, consider that Vanity Fair asks, like the Times, if Kennedy's anti-vax conspiracies have found a home among tech leaders. Washington Monthly suggested journalists refrain from covering this quote unquote crackpot. Politico sloppily characterized Kennedy's tech industry support as owing to his connection to an imagined American past, combined with his facts be damned insistence on an elite conspiracy to engineer America's future. Slate announced that the other Kennedys really hate RFK Jr. Even across the pond, The Guardian limitedly asked that if 100 million Americans, that of the 100 million Americans eligible to be president, why are we left with Robert F. Kennedy? Well, I think we can come up with a few ideas there. Outside of the media, however, serious people are beginning to take Kennedy seriously. Seriously, man. Last month, Kennedy did an interview on the All In podcast, whose 4 hosts, leading investors and entrepreneurs, span the political spectrum. That one I haven't seen yet, but I do have that in my playlist, so I'm looking forward to that. You can find it on YouTube. Just type in All In podcast, RFK Jr. Hopefully it's not been taken down like the Jordan Peterson interview, but you never know. I'm sure it's on its way there. So back it up if you can. Back it up. 2 of those hosts, David Sachs, the founding COO of PayPal, and Chamath, I can't even pronounce his last name, a billionaire former Facebook exec, put their money where their mics are by co-hosting a fundraiser for Kennedy last week. Meanwhile, Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey has endorsed Kennedy, while former Democrat poll Tulsi Gabbard has expressed support. Yes, she certainly has. Much of Kennedy's appeal lies in his forthright approach to major issues, like his visit to the southern border this month, where he spoke directly with immigrants in Arizona. Unsurprisingly, most of the press stayed home. Kennedy's positions on many other issues also cut against the media grain. His most controversial stance is on the war in Ukraine, where he strongly opposes American involvement, though his son volunteered to serve alongside Ukrainians. Back home, he believes transgender athletes should not participate in female sports. You gotta love that. He believes transgender athletes should not participate in female sports. And at time when the media itself seemed to be hiring directly out of Langley, he's harshly critical of America's intelligence community, and particularly the CIA, which he believes is responsible for the assassination of his uncle, John F. Kennedy. Though the media is also likely to call this a conspiracy theory, the relentless attacks on Kennedy are a clear attempt to hobble his campaign. We see this in efforts to paint Kennedy not only as a Republican, but as the man who Dems view as the embodiment of pure political evil, Donald Trump. There we go. I mean, this is what it's all come down to. This is why I'm writing this book right here. The similarities, the way they go after Kennedy, the way they go after Trump. It is so very similar. It would be shocking if it was not so apparent. but it's right there in front of our faces for anyone that wants to see it. All you have to do is look, and you can see it so clearly. Now, can you see it? Can you dig it? Let's keep rolling on. So, need proof? His name is Kennedy. His campaign is pure Trump, declared Washington Post columnist Matt Bai in a May 15th column. Yeah, they're really going after them. And, you know, we all know the ties between the media and the alphabet soup members. All right, finishing this article off. Oh, I'm surprised I made it through this. This is actually a really good article. I really like this one. This is an opinion piece in the New York Post. The media onslaught is not only an attempt to derail Kennedy, but an easy way to deflect attention from the Dems' real campaign crisis: Biden's age, unfavorability, and chaos-plagued son. Faced with a weakened president, the media is trying to make Robert Kennedy into Joe Biden's whipping boy and send him packing long before Iowa. But with Biden's scandals bubbling, they certainly are, and Kennedy bottling early electoral lightning, the next claims of misinformation might just refer to Kennedy outpolling the president. Excellent article. Really enjoyed it. And I was only able to find it because I was actively trying to follow what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is doing. And so I picked up that article and have not looked back, never looked back there. So while I'm pulling that up, I'm probably going to play another little video. I do want to let people know where, if you do want to find some of these articles, some of the videos, I should say, that I am working on and will continue to work on here. I'm going to show you exactly how you can find those. All right, so let me go here, present, back to the screen share, back to here. And boom, boom, boom. All right. Back to the screen share. Oops, there we go. That's a good one. All right. Okay, so pull this up and then I'll do a little screen share just in case if anybody does want to go and find it. I'm going to make it very, very easy for you to do so in case you did not know. All right. Okay, here it is. Cut to YouTube. So if you do want to keep up with those videos that I'm putting out there, little clips and everything, all leading up to the 2024 presidential election, you just type in Greg Fernandez Jr. See a few channels. You can always separate by channels. This is not the channel that you're looking for. Those aren't the droids that you're looking for. The channel that you're looking for is actually this one right here. It shows me in front of the microphone, old school studio days. That's how I started this. This channel was more just media, more personal stuff, but it has now become my third channel because who knows, one day this channel with the PDR may get wiped out someday. So you just go there, you hit Greg Fernandez Jr.
President Trump, thank you for your time here.
That one. And I have a lot of videos. If you just scroll down, you will be able to see the latest videos that I put up. I'm going to play a few of those short clips here. I've got some of the Tucker things, just a lot of things just kind of backed up. But there's a Donald Trump playlist. There's also a Trump versus RFK playlist that I really need to change that name and kind of sort it out a little bit better. So I'm still kind of working on this channel. And then, of course, my friends of Greg. But those are the two things. If you do want to keep up with what is happening, the one you're really looking for is this one, Trump versus RFK. So that's where I'm putting all of the videos tied in to Trump versus RFK. If you just want to see the most recent, just click on videos, play it all. and I'm going to play one or two of those. Any of the lives, I hate how they put these lives somewhere else, but I don't really have any live streams. I think I did a couple just way back when, some election update one, and then just some replay, kind of a replay one. So most of the stuff will not be live on this other channel that I have here. But if you do want to keep up with what's happening with RFK and with Donald Trump, this is the channel that you will want to follow. And of course, make sure you check out all of Tucker's new videos. He just put out Tucker on Twitter #6, so I need to go and watch that one next. But I will play, which one am I going to? I'm going to play The Wages of War. I really like that one. I have another one. This is from RFK Jr.'s latest speech here. And let me see if I can just pause that for a second. So this is the newest one that he has put out. And of course, this is from June 20th. Presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. gave an amazing speech at St. Anselm College in Goffstown, New Hampshire. And so he talks about war and about peace. And, you know, I was listening or watching Greg Gutfeld earlier today, and he was kind of talking about some of the same things that I'm sure a lot of us have been thinking when we think about Democrats, and that we miss those old school Democrats, the old school Democrats that we kind of grew up with, that I grew up with. And so to see RFK Jr. out there kind of bringing that spirit back is really amazing. I'm finding it really fascinating. So I'll go ahead and play this here as we reach about the 37-minute mark, it looks like. I really try to keep these to about an hour. These are all live here. And again, just kind of working off the book that I'm working on. Kennedy and Trump is the new title. I feel like every time I do one of these shows, the title changes. So that is the new title of the book, the handwritten. I've almost finished this first journal. My wife just bought me a second journal with the exact same, everything exactly the same. So that is awesome. And because I really do like to do these books handwritten first, which takes me a lot longer, but I feel that the quality is better, everything comes out better, and I can retain it more. Doing videos like this, or just for me, just for my peace of mind, to kind of keep it out there, to keep me kind of focused and work out some of these things that I like and what I don't like. And a lot of things for the book will end up being cut. That always happens. Nothing wrong with that. But these Kennedy speeches, I was like, what I was doing last night is I was writing, and I'm listening to Kennedy's speech, and I'm taking down quotes, taking down notes. I'm like, I need to take these clips. I need to make some video clips too, so that I can do this. So I always timestamp all of his clips. But I thought, you know what? Why don't I just make these clips right now? Then I can use them later for a companion piece, a long form companion piece covering the candidacy of RFK Jr. and Donald J. Trump as much as I can without being censored. And who knows what they'll censor? I'm sure they'll find something to censor. And that's okay. No problem there. We'll figure that out. So I am going to play this. This is about a 4-minute clip here. And move it from 720. Oh, look at that. All the way to 4K. Yeah. Move that 4K. So I will play this, and then I will come right back here.
Is it any wonder that as America has waged violence throughout the world, violence has overtaken us in our own nation? It has not come as an invasion. It has come from within. Our bombs, our drones, our armies are incapable of stopping the gun violence on our streets and schools, or domestic violence in our homes. I see the same link here as my father and Martin Luther King saw about the Vietnam War. They saw that war. They believed that we could not have warfare abroad without bringing that violence home to our streets, to our attitudes, to our communities. Foreign violence is inseparable from domestic violence. Both are aspects of a basic orientation and a basic set of priorities. Waging endless wars. Waging endless wars abroad, we have neglected the foundation of our own well-being. We have a decaying economic infrastructure. We have a demoralized people and despairing people. We have toxins in our air and our soil and our water. We have deteriorating mental and physical health. These are the wages of war. What will be the wages of peace? They will be healing of all the symptoms of America's decline. None of these are beyond our capacity to heal. We can restore America to the awesome vitality of the original Kennedy era. My uncle said it well. He said that no problem of human destiny is beyond human beings. He warned us that, quote, too many of us think that peace is impossible. Too many of us think it is unreal. But that is the dangerous and defeatist belief. It leads to the conclusion that war is inevitable, that mankind is doomed, that we are gripped by forces that we cannot control. We need not accept that view. Our problems are man-made, and therefore they can be solved by man. So how do we actually do that? We started by replacing the vicious cycle of suspicion with a virtuous cycle of trust building. We reverse escalation. It takes courage to make the first move toward peace. Let's see what happens when we stop the provocation and the escalation and offer instead an olive branch. Each step we take invites those who we call our adversaries to take a step further. Maybe Russia won't respond. Maybe they won't respond in kind or in any way, but at least we will know that we tried, and the whole world will know it too. That step comes from a changed attitude and from courage. Speaking in the midst of the Cold War, John Kennedy asked us, quote, not only to see the distorted and desperate view of the other side, not to see conflict as inevitable, accommodation as impossible, and communication is nothing more than exchange of threats. Let's take a moment and allow that to sink in. Today, America has broken off practically all diplomatic contact with Russia, so that communication has indeed become little more than an exchange of threats and insults. FDR met with Stalin. JFK met with Khrushchev. Nixon met with Brezhnev. Reagan met with Gorbachev. Can't Biden meet with Putin? Can't we at least begin a conversation? Do we now have such a distorted and desperate view of the other side that we won't even speak to them?
That's a fascinating question. And I think we know the answer, but it's nice and it's refreshing to hear this from a
President Trump, thank you
president.
for your time here.
I was thinking about this the other day that RFK Jr. he's speaking as if he's running for re-election for his uncle, as if he is running in place of his father, who was killed after winning the primary in California in 1967. He's continuing the Kennedy legacy, right? You have to kind of block out Ted Kennedy and Maria Shriver, maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is kind of loosely a part or was a part of that before he decided to F everybody's freedom. But here we have third time, right? And then what do they say? A third time is a charm. Will it be a charm this time? It will be interesting to see exactly what happens. And only time will tell. Only time will tell what happens, but I am very, very curious. I'm sure a lot of you are too, to see what happens. Now, like I said before, we haven't heard anything really of Donald Trump talking about RFK. I'm still waiting for it. It's going to be a good moment when that happens, if and when that happens. RFK Jr. may have to beat Biden for that to happen. Trump may be thinking, you know what, if I endorse RFK right now, that may hurt his chances. So remember, Trump is a master chess player here. But what I want to play now is an oldie but goodie. This is from
Now, when it comes to you,
This is from the Megyn Kelly show. This one is a little bit longer. It's about 6 minutes or so. We got some time, right? We got a little time here. So I'm going to play this. And now, as many of you probably remember, Donald Trump was speaking. He did a CNN town hall, which really wasn't a town hall. It was really Donald Trump versus, I forget what that lady's name was. But then there were some good questions involved in that too. The responses were amazing. So after you had Trump's speech, which is still out there, by the way, Geeks and Gamers, it's still out there. You can find it on select channels. More likely you'll find it on Rumble too. I'm sure they'll end up taking them down here on YouTube. But after Trump gave that 90-minute amazing town hall, then the reaction started flooding in. Byron Donalds did a great job trying to talk with the CNN commentators, I guess. But I thought that what I really wanted to hear was from RFK Jr. Well, RFK Jr. was on Megyn Kelly, and that is exactly what happened here. So that is awesome. Hey, my friend, how are you, Ken? Nice to see you here. I have not yet, but I am interested in doing that. Something just like this would be really, really awesome. So hopefully by this weekend, I'll be able to reach out to your cousin, do a live show, or at least a pre-recorded, whatever he wants to do. Hopefully something just like this, where we'll just do a split screen. That will be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. That will be on this channel, by the way, when that gets done. That will be on this channel. And I am really looking forward to that. This weekend, there is a great wrestling show that I'm looking forward to. AEW versus New Japan Pro Wrestling. It is going to be awesome. I'm so excited about it. So, but I love the whole NWA. I love those old school wrestlings. I have followed him, and I've looked at some of the things that he's posted, and it is awesome. The interview is going to be fun. As a wrestling fan, any pure wrestling fan, it will be really fun. Speaking of wrestling, though, Ken, what do you think about this? Because there could be a comparison, maybe a weak comparison. And it's entertainment. Think of the politics, as long as you can separate, think of it as more entertainment. I've kind of been thinking about this comparison, and it is weak and flawed, by the way, but I will say this and put this out there because that's just how I feel. But RFK and Trump is kind of like Hulk Hogan and Flair. RFK playing the role of Hulk Hogan, and Donald Trump playing the dirtiest player in the game, Ric Flair. Like I said, the comparison is flawed. I love it. I've listened to just about, I watched all of Trump's speeches, and the more I listen to him, the more I watch him, like, this is Ric Flair. And then the more that I watch RFK Jr., he comes off as that pure kind of Hulk Hogan type of attitude, just the good guy through and through, until he turned to the NWO. But we're not talking about that. So, but that's kind of where, that's kind of what I think about it. Because, if you take the politics and everything too seriously, and although I don't believe that it's the end all be all, right? I don't put all my faith and all my hope into politics or into any man. Only put it into God, only into Christ. But at the same time, I do feel like I'm being called to pay attention to what is going on. I don't expect everybody to. It's not for everybody. I can totally understand why people are turned off, why so many people have just given up on politics, on the process, on our republic. I totally get it. I'm just not there. And I want to see this through. I want to see exactly what happens in 2024. I think it's going to be a very entertaining year, a very important year, and a very interesting year for this country. And so even if you can just look at it from that view as it's entertainment, it's Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair, you may actually start to enjoy some of the speeches that both of these candidates are giving and what they're going to do. And it's going to get heated. I can just tell you that it's going to get heated in these next months here, all leading up to the primary. The primary is where it's really going to be at. So before we get to the big show, before we get to WrestleMania, we got to get through the Royal Rumble. And I think the primaries, the presidential primaries, that's exactly where this is going. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I love the comparison of Ric Flair and Donald Trump. It just tickles me. It really tickles me. So that's kind of where I'm at now. Ken also says, I'm taking a break, but we'll do a live soon. Awesome. How they rule the world regarding BlackRock and Vanguard. Excellent. Look forward to that too. And hopefully people here, if you're watching this, make sure that you subscribe to Red Pill Truth. You will find him out there. Lots of great documentaries on his channel too. Lots of great content. So with that said, I'm going to cut to this 6-minute clip here. And I want to hear, what does RFK Jr., Mr. Hulk Hogan himself, what does he say about Donald Trump's fiery speech? So picture the best Ric Flair speech that you've ever heard, and then picture Hulk Hogan commenting on that speech. That's what you're going to get in the 6-minute clip. And hopefully, we'll see how it all works out. This is from the Megyn Kelly Show. This was a day or two. This is a day or two after Donald Trump's speech. I forget what day it was, but I'll be right back here in about 6 minutes.
Now, when it comes to Ukraine, I don't want to say you have unanimity between the Dems and the Republicans, but it's, the Dems seem very in support of this, our support of Ukraine and what we're doing over there. Most Republicans also say that they support what we're doing, though there's a growing body of dissenters within the GOP. And Trump certainly seems to be one of them. Now, he participated in this CNN town hall last night and was asked about Ukraine. Here's part of what he said.
Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people and breaking down this country. You have
Mr.
to
President,
get
can I
Europe.
just follow up on that? Because that's a really important
Excuse me,
statement
let me
that
just
you just
follow
made
up.
there. Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying. Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done.
Now he's getting pushback on that from the more, pro-Ukrainian intervention folks saying, what does that mean? He's going to give it up within a day. He's going to pull us out of it, start pull U.S. support, wave the white flag, and let Putin have what he's taken thus far. People are upset about that. And it was interesting, just anecdotally, it's a small room, but those are all Republican primary voters in New Hampshire clapping for his answer. So what did you make of it?
Well, I was really happy to hear him say that. And, and I think his instincts are exactly right. We just have to end this war. And there's not going to ever be a winner or loser. Both sides have been the loser in this. We've killed now between 30,000 and 100,000 Russians. And over 300,000 Ukrainian troops and 14 to 15,000 civilians. We've destroyed the Ukraine. We've destroyed 60% unemployment. The infrastructure is wrecked. The country now, because of the prolonging of this war, which is a U.S. project, the neocons in the White House have prolonged this war and much longer, rather than treating it as a humanitarian crisis and trying to end it quickly. Every step the White House has taken, particularly the neocons in the White House, has been to prolong the war and expand and increase the bloodshed. President, we were sold on the fact that this was a humanitarian issue, that a humanitarian intervention. My son went over there and fought, and that was his impression too. He went over and he fought, as a machine gunner.
Yeah, talked about that.
Special Forces unit in the Kharkiv offensive. And But when President Biden was asked about the objectives of the war, he said it was to depose Vladimir Putin to do regime change, which is a neocon project, an aspiration of the neocons for decades, for a decade. When his Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin spoke about the war in April of 2022 or 2021. 2022, excuse me, he said that our objective in the war was to exhaust the Russians and degrade their capacity to fight in any other part of the world. Well, that is not a good idea for the Ukrainians. That means we are turning this country into an abattoir for Ukrainian kids in order to achieve a geopolitical objective of weakening Russia. And by the way, I don't think it's a good idea for us to be weakening Russia. We are pushing Russia into the camp of China. And so the whole thing is kind of a nightmare. And the Ukrainians are a victim of US policies and Russian policies. Now, I like what President Trump said during his administration. He actually laid the groundwork for this war. He began selling for the first time Ukrainians offensive weapons. He walked away from the ABM treaty, which was the treaty that made the Russians very nervous, because that was the treaty we had signed with the Russians to say neither of us are going to deploy the intermediate range nuclear weapons. That from the Ukraine's only 400 miles from Russia. And we could hit Moscow in minutes with those weapons. So it destabilized the area. It made the Russians very, very anxious. And then he continued to push the borders of NATO right up to the Russian borders, which the Russians had said was a red line. So his administration, although his intentions, I think, were good, his administration was filled with neocons and warmongers and swamp creatures and pharmaceutical executives who were making decisions that did not reflect what President Trump was saying to his base.
I want to tell you about the amazing extreme altitude wines from the Bonner Private Wine Partnership. These flavors go great with.
Stop that. So that is kind of the basis of what he was saying. I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that one. So always good to hear RFK's view on this. I'm probably just going to play maybe one more clip here and then head on out. We really want to keep these to about 1 hour. So we've gone about just an hour or so. So I think this is almost a good place to stop. Let's go check in Twitter and see what is happening in the RFK Jr. Twitterverse, if anything. There's been a lot of things going on in Twitter itself. Not necessarily related to RFK, but it looks like, well, I may have to let this one ride and let this show end with Tucker Carlson. That may be fun. That may be a fun little interesting way to end this. See if we make it here. Okay, we're taking a chance, but all this should be backed up to Rumble anyway. We all like Tucker, but that's about 18 minutes. So I don't think I will do that. I think I'll play that one separately. But you can get, if you just look at this headline here, episode 6 of Tucker Carlson, Bobby Kennedy is winning. Isn't that interesting? More and more and more, right? We're just waiting. Just at some point, Trump has got to respond. He's got to respond. But then when we think about it, how he responds may actually hurt Kennedy's chances. Maybe. I don't know. But it seems to me like both of them are very good at bringing Americans together, while at the same time exposing the NWO and how they want to pick the candidates and pick everything for you. And that's just the way that I see it. Not saying it's right or wrong, but that is how I see this one. So make sure that you check that out. I'm going to go and watch Tucker Carlson and Learn how Bobby Kennedy is winning. I know he's winning. You know he's winning. I'm so tempted to just play it right here. It's about an 18-minute clip though. So I think I will shut this one down. God bless you all. Thank you all for everything that you do here. And keep up the good fight. And I will be back. I'm going to go and start working a little bit more on this book. Check out Tucker Carlson, who recognizes Bobby Kennedy is winning. Next time, I do want to cover RFK's article that was written on April 20th, My Earth Day Message to America. And we'll dig more into RFK. And hopefully we'll have some Trump news. Usually there's a lot more Trump news than what I'm seeing right now. But with everything that has been happening, everything is kind of on hold. And I think we're going to see a few more Republicans join in this race in the hope that, well, if Trump ends up in jail or if he backs out, which I don't think either of those two are going to happen. But I think there are people that are circling the waters. And we'll see how all this ends out. God bless you all. Have a great night. And I will be back. Until next time.